Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a podcast Orange. I am your host, Tom Crescenzo. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jack Siegel. How is it going?
Hello, Tom.
Bro.
Welcome.
You didn't let me say bro.
Bro.
You have to let me finish asking you how it's going.
Okay, go ahead.
How's it going, bro? That's how you ruined it.
Oh, well, all right, let's take
God
two.
damn it. All right, how's it going? Welcome to a podcast Orange. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, dude.
Thank you.
Welcome to a podcast Orange After Dark.
Yeah.
Where it's a strip time.
It's fucking... Wait, is that clock right? It's 11:53.
Although, at this point, it doesn't really matter because it's not like these people are listening to it live. They're just going to be listening to it whenever.
Yeah, right. Like, it'd be funny if this was a live show. We did have commitment times, but, like, nobody really, like disciplined us, so we just
decided we're doing this at 12 a.m.
People are just like, what? Like, people are driving for their morning commute.
They're like, where the fuck are these people?
Yeah, like, if we had listeners, like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, they're supposed to be here. You know, I always associate After Dark, like, when they say, like, a program is something After Dark with nudity. But yesterday I turned on the boob tube, and on it was Poker After Dark. I'm like, what the fuck is this? On NBC, tube? On the television. And
because when you say boob tube, it makes it seem like it's
on Pornhub.
Like it makes it seem like it's a TV or computer that you only watch porn on.
Well, I have
like
one
the
of those.
boob tube is like your porn.
No,
laptop.
that's like a 1950s expression for the computer. You know, like
the boob tube.
You watch the boob tube.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, they used to say like, "Why don't you turn on the boob tube?"
Really?
That's an old dude. That's
Did
an expression.
Dr. Harry Friedman tell you this or some shit?
And then that was an expression back when he was like 70 years old.
Yeah, back when he was a young man of 55 in 1902.
Yeah, but no. So
Harry's a good guy. Good guy.
I love Harry. What's it called? We were a smart dude also.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Anyway, so I was watching Poker After Dark, but there was no like strip poker. It was just a bunch of fat middle-aged men cursing at each other. They're like, I thought you said you didn't have a fucking king. I'm like, who watches poker? I
mean, it's weird to watch. I feel like if you watch poker, you have to be a gambling addict.
Yeah.
It's like, why else would you watch it like obsessively? Like you're either studying it or you're just trying to get that fix through. Like you have no money,
other people,
so you can't gamble, but you can at least watch it on TV and think about it. Like,
because that's like a
you're just like, oh my god, is he gonna get it? Yes. Oh, I kind of felt that.
Like that's not a sport because everyone's like, is it a no, man, it's not a sport if people are drinking liquor and smoking cigars while they're playing.
Yeah,
it's a fucking game.
Could you imagine watching football and people are just like hammered, like they're taking shots and shit? It's like, all right, like.
But how can anybody like that? There are some sports where I just don't get how anybody enjoys them.
I mean,
I'm a big sports guy, but I don't get how.
I do get the appeal of watching poker because I've watched poker with comedians. Or like sometimes they have comedians go on those like poker shows. Like I've seen it with Dave Attell and Artie Lang and like Norm Macdonald.
But that's
and
like
then it's fun. But then it's because there's a comedian in the room. Like just watching
people?
poker in and of itself, like with people just like really skilled poker players, like I guess if you're trying to study the game, that's like the only other reason I can think of other than you're a straight up gambling addict who beats his wife and kids. Like
yeah, like you need to get something out of it because there's no like excitement. You're watching people stare at cards. It's just like,
It's just like, oh my god. The ace of clubs.
Like this guy was like talking shit to this other poker player. He's like, this fucking guy, I always notice he blinks twice whenever he has got nothing.
It's like, ooh.
And I'm like, oh shit.
Everyone just runs out of the room like, oh. It's like, he did not just say that though. It's like, you ever seen that freestyle like video skit where it's like, like all the like, it's like all the black dudes and they're like, but it's like a joke and it's like, they're like, oh, it's like that. But he says that and everyone's just like,
oh shit. This 50-year-old fat poker player just told this friend off.
He just told his other 50-year-old equally hopeless friend off and it was really funny for everyone.
But like that, there are some sports, there's fishing, and there's golf. Yeah. How do people watch golf?
Golf has got to be the most mind-numbing, like, experience. Both playing and watch. Like, no offense, like, I have friends who are really into golf, and it's like, Like, I like swinging a club.
Yeah, I like going to the driving range.
Yeah, like,
you go
that's
to the driving
fun.
range in Hicksville.
Yeah, just hitting balls mindlessly like a fucking caveman is great.
I bet you like hitting balls.
Yeah, I love hitting those balls, baby. Let me see them.
Well, let me have them
Ooh, podcast erotica.
After dark.
After dark, podcast orange.
But, like, playing golf itself, no, because, yeah, going to the driving range and just, like, getting hammered and smashing, that's fun.
Hammer smash face? Yeah, you don't get it.
I don't get it.
Anyway.
I don't get what that means.
It's a death metal reference. Come on.
I listen to more than one genre of music, so I don't know. What
I listen to everything, too. From Cardi B to Dying Fetus.
Fish.
To Fish. Oh, God. But yeah, the thing about golf is like it does, like, all these things take skill. It's not that they don't take skill. It's just more like the entertainment value of certain things, at least to the eye of someone who's just observing it from like a not like involved perspective, like, just an outside mainstream perspective. Golf, it just looks boring.
It does.
I don't understand why Tiger Woods is such a celebrity. It's like, all right, he's great at golf. Like,
well, he was the only golfer to ever get laid. Like, here's the thing about Tiger Woods was I never really gave a shit about him. And then when I found out he was banging all those women, I actually was like, Tiger Woods is
he's my hero now.
Yeah, I was like, he's the man. Because people are giving him way too much shit about that. It's like, dude, imagine being a golfer your whole life, like, women just ignore you, and now you're like now you're the shit and everybody's paying attention to you.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, how could you possibly, like,
I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Possibly hassle that guy over,
That's like being like a really like that's like being the greatest player. Like, not even that, it's like being the greatest like Pokemon battler.
Yeah.
Of all time, and like never getting laid, and then like it just becomes a trend or something one day, and suddenly you're just getting pussy left and right,
and you're like on the cover of Wheaties and fucking advertising Gatorade. Like Tiger Woods,
like a Subway commercial.
Like, give him a break. He probably got married when he was like, listen,
I'm not saying, like, I just don't understand the obsession with golf, and like it's like crazy that he even became that much of a celebrity to me, because I'm like, in my mind, I don't see the mainstream appeal of golf, but I guess enough people like it to where. Sure, like
it's not a sport. It's what athletes do when they retire from other sports, is they play golf for fun.
Actually, I thought it was what the president does when he's supposed to be running the country.
He goes down to Mar-a-Lago.
He just golfs.
That Doug Stanhope
Trump probably
about golf
sucks at golf.
Yeah, but they probably let him win.
I mean, yeah, they're like, yeah, that was great, Mr. Like, they're like shoving the ball into and push it in the hole. Like, that was great, Mr. President.
No, he definitely sucks at. I mean. I don't know, man.
I mean, I suck at golf, too. But, I suck at all sports. Either way.
But why are we even talking about sports? Yeah. We have a lot of important shit to talk about. Last week, we took a break from talking about topical shit, and we talked about movies. Now, there's so much shit that happened.
I mean, yeah, we got a lot to get into. First of all, we, as you guys know, we are still trying to get on Spotify.
Yeah.
But based on the recent news...
We gotta get woke.
I don't know if we'll even be allowed at this rate.
We have to. Our podcast we'd get like 5 seconds. It would just be us saying hello and goodbye.
Yeah, right. Like, they're like, all right, you can put it on, but you have to let us edit some of the things out of the episodes. Like, all right, whatever. Like, we just want to be on, and then it's like we listen, and it's literally just like, hi, welcome to a podcast.
That's it.
That's the whole episode.
Dude,
like, wow, that's it.
Because I read that, like, the Spotify employees, some of them, it's got to be like 5.
Well, here's what I think. It's like, because Joe Rogan, everyone knows about the $100 billion deal they made now.
Well,
and
not
it's
everybody,
like,
yeah.
Okay, well, anybody who's listening to that show that did not know, now. And, so Joe Rogan's on Spotify now. And it was a big deal. It was considered one of the biggest deals in, like, podcasting and just streaming in general. And, it's been going well for him. But now, apparently certain Spotify employees are trying to, like, protest the company for allowing him on the platform because they think he's transphobic and or racist or just some other form of non-politically correct. Yeah, some problematic ism.
Some ism. Here's the thing about that. Is I want to know, whenever they say that, whenever there's like an article about like these employees are angry, they never mention how many of these employees are angry.
Yeah,
and also they never mention who they are. It's just like, so all these anonymous people.
You probably wouldn't take it seriously if you knew.
Like, yeah, they're just.
It's like because if the headline was like, I was like, Jason, the 19-year-old intern, has been raising hell in the boardroom.
It's like all these CEOs are like, oh shit, well we were like, we got to listen to what this intern thinks.
Yeah, right. Like we got to listen to the guy who puts the papers in the filing cabinets because he's raising hell about this. Like,
we got to listen to the bagel boy.
Yeah,
to
right.
Fucking your job is to shut the fuck up and get us coffee. That's all
right.
your job
like
is.
you're not even really part of the company. Like you're basically just like a tool.
You don't get paid.
You function as essentially the same type of appliance as a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah,
like,
you're paid less than we don't even pay you, and you just do work for us.
You're essentially a slave. You're slaving for credentials. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, that's I mean, and here's the thing: like I've had unpaid internships, and
we've all sucked dick before.
I used to work for a company called The Playlist, and I would never in a million years be like, I don't really like the content you guys are like. You gotta learn your place, man.
Yeah,
you're at the bottom of the rung. You can say that if you're working for them.
Like I said, we do not know who in Spotify was raising these concerns, but like regardless. So the idea is like they're raising these concerns, and it's gotten to the point where it's they've been fighting with the owners and I guess the dictators of whoever controls that stuff in Spotify.
The dictators.
Yeah, the dictators of Spotify. But excuse me, I'm drinking too much beer. But late night podcast.
Late night.
But
after dark.
They actually agreed to compromise and to give Rogan some restrictions on like certain things he could say, because it's not just about being offensive, it's also about misinformation, and Rogan has said not true things that have gone public, and he's actually apologized for them. Like, there was a recent story where he said something not true about the fires. Right. I forgot specifically what it was.
He said that there was, I believe what he said was like Antifa set fires in Portland.
It was something like that, or at least something along the lines like that. He heard that happen, but then he came out and apologized and said, like, I'm sorry, I was not informed on that, and that's good.
I actually agree. Listen, if you say something that I like it when somebody can admit they're wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being like, listen, I was wrong about something. Because people should do that. Not enough people do that.
Yeah,
today.
Especially if something you were wrong about is like you're informing like a massive fan base. Like,
and also you're influencing people's lives.
Yeah,
and putting people.
If you're telling millions of people that this group of people is doing this thing that they didn't really do, like that's kind of a thing that's going to affect like the public's view of like everything that's happening.
It could affect individual lives. Somebody could hear that, and then they could be like, "I'm gonna shoot this person."
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but the thing about it is more like A, he apologized, and B, like a lot of it is also just the offensive shit. Like they think he's a transphobe, they think he's like racist, they consider him alt-right because he has those guests on sometimes. It's just like it's so ridiculous for two reasons. First of all, like,
what's wrong with being racist?
Yeah, like, I mean, come on. Like, does anybody like non-white? No, I'm kidding. A podcast supremacy.
Dude,
no.
Okay.
But,
finish what you're saying.
Yeah, like, it's really just because the first thing is, like, if you've been working for Spotify and you've been hearing about this deal, you already know what Rogan is. Like, you've known this was coming for a while. Like, why are you just now raising these concerns? Second of all is, like, what about, like, all the other fucked up shit that's on Spotify that you don't even raise an eyebrow at? Like, think
about all the fucked up music that's on there? That's, like, what about... I know we're, like, really beating the subject in the ground now.
Yeah.
But what about WAP?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you're totally fine with wet-ass pussy, but Rogan is too offensive.
Well, it's also, like I said, if these people... If they were at a podcast orange, they would jump off the fucking building and kill themselves.
Yeah, right?
They honestly, like... Because... But also, I mean, I don't think Joe Rogan is racist and transphobic.
No, he's certainly not at all.
I like Joe Rogan.
He may have had people on who have those views, but I don't even think that makes him... What's the problem with
even having people on? Like, why has it become a problem to interview people? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Because people say, like, you can interview them, but you can't agree with them. It's like, yeah, whatever. That's not the point, though. You're like Rogan is getting in trouble for even giving them, like, a microphone. And it's like, that's not, like what you're saying, but, like, it's not fair to say that these people shouldn't be able to speak or shouldn't ever be heard. Like, even if you don't agree with him, like, hearing them might give you more of a perspective on why you don't agree with them.
Like take Ben Shapiro, for instance. I disagree with him on a lot of issues, and sometimes I hear what he has to say, And I'm like, you know what? He makes a good point. I actually agree with him there. There's people. That's what people don't understand. Everything is so binary now, where it's like you're either left or you're right. You're either blue or you're red. That you don't realize that there's a lot of people that are on the other side that you have common ground with, and you agree on certain issues.
Yeah.
And I love Joe Rogan. I think he's hilarious, as does every white.
I mean, I don't think he's hilarious, but I do like him. Yeah.
I think he's really funny. I think I don't see what the problem is. Yeah. I don't give a shit. And also, it's just like the entitlement of people to act of young people not knowing their place. And I know I mean,
that's like if I work at the UPS, the UPS store. I mean, we've basically said that on this podcast already. It's out there. But that'd be like if I wanted to go on strike because Amazon is owned by a billionaire, and I think billionaires are unethical, and we shouldn't be taking Amazon returns. It's the same logic. It's like, we can't take the returns of a billionaire corporation that abuses people. It's like, people would look at me like, what the fuck are you even talking about, you insane, psychopathic idiot? You even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Do you have any
nuance? Well, also, it's just like, what I don't understand is, why doesn't Spotify just... For all these people that are saying, we don't want Joe Rogan's podcast on Spotify, why doesn't Spotify just fire these people and get new employees?
Yeah, right.
And then they would get employees in a day.
Plenty of people need jobs.
Dude, they would hire... I'm guarantee you, it's not like the whole company. They could easily just fire all of these people and then hire new people a day later.
That's what makes me think it could be people who have power, though. Because if they haven't fired them yet, then it's like, it could be either a decent amount or just people who are not that easily replaceable. And that's a bigger issue for something like Spotify, because here you just made the biggest business deal of the entire company's existence, and half your staff, let's say half your staff, for example, is just not on board with it. How do you really resolve that? You either go back, you have a couple of options. You can go back on the deal entirely and say, you know what, we shouldn't have done this. It wasn't a good idea. And then Spotify
and you lose a ton of money.
Yeah, then what you're essentially, not only are you losing a shit ton of money and looking like an asshole, you're also backing out of the sort of podcast resurgence that's been coming about, and taking your stake out of the growth that's going to
and no other podcast is also going to want to work with you in the future.
Because once the biggest podcast of the all time has a bad experience with you and you have to boot them, what other podcast is going to want to use you as a host? No. Nobody.
And also, but I feel the thing about Joe Rogan that makes his podcast so why there's millions of people is people like this sort of talking about things without there being this overly reliance of you have to be politically correct and woke, and you have to say everything that's socially acceptable to say. He doesn't say stuff like that. He talks like a real person. I think that the thing is that when we're out in public and when we're hanging out with our buddies, we have two completely different personas. And we don't rarely get to show the side of us who we really are. The type who makes inappropriate jokes, who says things that are that are offensive.
I mean, I don't know about you. I still fuck babies.
I mean, well, I do know that.
Speak for yourself, everybody. Hey. I think you're right.
But I feel like with this now, it's just gonna take the value out of that. Now it's he's gonna have to be all. They're putting him into a box with this.
I mean, it's just kind of annoying because he just moved out of LA, because he's complained. He's openly complained about why. And he basically beats around the bush of saying, too many annoying ass liberals there trying to, tell me that I shouldn't say shit. That's basically what it is, really. Maybe not maybe not liberals per se, but, he basically says, he'll be there and he'll be like, oh, the people in LA have a way of thinking that's very linear and one-sided. And really, it's you're just trying to say that you're tired of these assholes trying to censor you. Just say that. You're tired of these assholes trying to censor you.
You're tired of the woke people.
Yeah, you're tired of woke assholes trying to censor you, and you just want to move to a place where you don't have to deal with it as much.
And it's the same thing that's what he did. It's the same thing, LA is the same thing as in New York City.
And most major cities. But, that's what it is. is, and he just said, I'm going to move, so he moved. Now he's on Spotify, and he has the same problem again. It's like, what can this guy do? Like, everywhere he goes, like, these people are just coming after him, like, just trying to claim that he's bad or that he's a bad influence on society. Like, Joe Rogan is, in my view, like, his podcast, more than just him, is good for society because these conversations need to be had. Like, these, like, as troublesome as some of these views may be, they should be heard. Not even just to see the other side, but just to add more credence to the arguments you have against it, if anything. Yeah, and also, like, you're right. Like, you might have a lot of common ground with people you don't realize, and like, it's not healthy to think that everyone's political views are so linear and straight and just completely clean cut that they don't overlap. And it shows like Joe Rogan's and similar podcasts that allow people to open up. I think that give you the window into that.
I think that the problem is that when you have people, the good thing is that when you have people that come and you disagree with them on a lot of issues, you can hear what they have to say, and then you could be like, oh, this guy, I was right, he's a fucking idiot. And then it doesn't, like, but like, if you make this person seem like, oh no, he's bad, we won't allow him to speak, that just makes people want to listen to him more. And that just reaffirms people's beliefs that you're trying to censor him because he's right, and you're trying to get rid of what he's saying because, there must be something in here. It's just the same thing with all these colleges that are, like, banning these controversial speakers just because, like, a bunch of angry 18-year-olds who have never been told no by their parents are literally flipping out over that. Yeah, right. That happened in Berkeley with the guy Milo Yiannopoulos, and it's just like...
Milo's not even, like, harmful. Milo's just stupid.
He's just a dumb guy.
Just, like, let him be stupid. But these kids are like, like they basically throw temper tantrums, and, like... The college is like, well, okay, fine. He's not allowed. Like, that's why I respect...
You just give in to these people and you give them more power.
That's why I respect the school I went to, UF, because Richard Spencer came to have a speech there, and, like, it was a big deal. It was after Charlottesville, and, like, it was a whole thing. A lot of people were like, we should not allow him to come here, and, like, people were, like, threatening the president of the school, saying, like, you should not allow this person to appear. You're a racist if you do. But it happened. He came. Yeah. There was a protest. I was at the protest. I mean, I filmed it. Like, it was a crazy moment in history for me to witness, because it really was just like, in my view, it proved that, like, nothing bad really happens when you just let it go down. Like, nothing violent really went down.
People say, like, oh, somebody hears this person's words and they commit violence, but it's like, dude, that person was probably already going to commit violence anyway.
Yeah, like...
And it's just like...
Plus, some people hear that person's words and they just don't do anything. They're just pussies. And they're just like...
Yeah, most people are pussies. Yeah. And also, I don't know, man. I just feel like I feel like people don't listen to things with an open mind anymore. And the media, by and large, feeds into it. Because they just... You either listen to agree or disagree. And there's certain people who are constantly... The media makes their out to be, like, good people and bad people a lot of times, and it's like, if you're like, this person said stuff in the past where I disagree with, so now every article I write about them, I'm going to constantly shit on them, and they're going to be all bad. Or this person has said things I agree with, so now every article I write about him, they're going to be like a hero, and and then that's what happened with, like, Bill Maher. Is like, he's one of the most controversial people, I guess, and like, so now every article about the Daily Beast is them, like, pissed off at him basically because he criticizes people that are overly woke. Yeah. And it's like, those people work for that website, so now what they're doing is they're like, what? Well, fuck you too, motherfucker, piece of shit.
I mean, I want to make one thing very clear. I think Bill Maher sucks. But either way,
Bill Maher is the man.
I agree with you. Nah, he sucks. He's fucking not funny at all.
You suck.
You're not funny. He's such a hack.
You're not funny.
He just wants to be that, like, I remember seeing him have Bill Burr on, and, like, he was trying to have Bill Burr just, like, totally ramp up the, like, yeah, we're so not PC here. Like, he's like, yeah, let's you and I share a cry together, because isn't comedy suffering because of PC culture?
We're getting off target here.
And Bill Burr was just like, it's so not like that. Like, everyone's just overreacting. Like, it's totally, like, stand-up is stand-up, and, like, Bill Maher was just like, well, what about the narrative of my show? Come on. It's just like, Whatever. I agree with you though that a lot of the flack he takes is not deserved. And
well,
it's
Bill
because
Burr
he
also didn't really
things.
have much to contribute to that episode.
Bill Burr is Bill Burr. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's not a political comedian.
Exactly.
He was not really right.
It wasn't a great interview.
But either way,
but I think it's just bullshit that
right,
they put everybody. So now the same thing that happened that Bill Maher is now with Joe Rogan, where every article about Joe Rogan is like, this person is a transphobe and he's a racist, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, the idea that just because you've spoken to someone who could potentially be a racist makes you racist is crazy. Like, because, like, people will be like, racism
we
is
live
not...
on Long Island.
Because here's the thing, people
like,
people say racism is not overt, racism is very subtle these days, and it's like, yeah, so that fact is, like, you know, none of my friends are Klansmen, but, like, some of my friends might say things that might seem racist, like, how far do you have to go to say, like, I'm not going to be friends with this person because he said something potentially problematic? Or does it make me racist to be friends with it? It's like, how could it? It's just so strange. Like, what your views are, you know how you vote. Like, there's limits. There's limits, of course. There are limits,
and it's like, at a certain point, you have to...
I think if your friend does, like, a funny, like, Asian accent one time, I don't think you should dead him and call him.
No, but there are limits. Like, at a certain point, I do think, like, you have to have principles, and, like, you have to be like, all right, this person's a piece of shit. I can't have this person in my life. Of course,
there's limits. Like, if somebody's just, like, wearing, like, MAGA hats and, like, won't stop with the constant, like,
Trump stuff,
like, right-wing talk, and, like, that
if somebody's here's the thing I realize, if somebody's, like, a QAnon person, not friends.
Well,
like,
that's
I immediately, I don't care who it is. If they turn out to be like one of my close friends that's like, I'm a QAnon supporter,
but if
like,
you're
out of my life.
If you spoke to a QAnon supporter, would you be a QAnon supporter?
No.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like, people will be like, the fact that Joe Rogan even talks to these people means that he's probably shares their views. It's like, that's not true. Like, you can talk to someone you fully disagree with, and it doesn't mean you agree with them. Like, conversation does not imply agreement or friendship. It just implies a civil context of discussion. Like, why is that not allowed? Why is that taboo? Like,
well, also I think that you know, his whole thing about, like, people are giving him shit because he was making fun of Caitlyn Jenner, and he was like saying the Kardashians turned him into a woman because hanging around a bunch of women all the time makes you feminine. And it's like, he was just making a joke. Granted, it wasn't that funny of a joke. Like, it was like, whatever. But it's just like, at the end of the day, I don't think he really believes that. It was just obviously just a joke that he was making. And also, I'm sick and tired of everybody acting like Caitlyn Jenner is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nobody liked...
the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Nobody liked Bruce Jenner when he was Bruce Jenner. Everybody fucking hated that guy. He ran over somebody with his car. And now that he became Caitlyn Jenner, now that, like, they're...
No one cares.
Now she's, like, a hero and a spokesman for the trans community. Everybody loves her. Fuck Caitlyn Jenner.
It's like somebody's dead because of that person.
Caitlyn Jenner's a murderer.
Yeah,
but no media outlet's gonna criticize her. Nobody gives a shit. I fucking hate Caitlyn Jenner, just like I hate all of the Kardashian people.
Yeah, I hate anyone involved with that show, and that's really why
it's not because she's trans, it's because she's a piece of shit human being.
Yeah, and that's why I was especially upset when Kanye said he was gonna run, because any chance that they could be involved in the government was terrifying to me.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that Spotify is just handling this like, I think they're handling it as best as they can. Like, as far as it's going, they're still on. Like, it's still going. Like,
yeah, but how
they haven't done anything really yet. But like,
why can't companies just say no to the woke crowd and be like, we're not going to listen to you?
I mean, things are just different now, man. Like, nowadays, like, you can like. You could just like file lawsuits for shit that makes no sense, and like,
they wouldn't have the power, dude. The people that run Spotify,
you could find these
the people that run Spotify.
But wait,
have way too much power to where like
you could find these scuzzy ass lawyers who could build a case for you, and Spotify just doesn't want to deal with it.
They can hire better lawyers.
It's not just the workers. It's the bad press. Like, if these people take to social media and spread negative press about their company, that, like, maybe they're like, I resigned from Spotify, and here's a list of reasons of how unethical they were, particularly with Joe Rogan, and that just goes around, people will be like, well, fuck Spotify and stop using it. Like, they're afraid of that. That's a fear.
But you know
like,
what? Look at what happened with Netflix, right? When Netflix, I mean, they didn't listen to the woke crowd. They had the crazy conservative conspiracy crowd.
Yeah.
When that whole movie Cuties came out, and a bunch of people were like, we're going to delete our Netflix account because of this movie. And then what did Netflix do? They didn't take down the movie. They're just like, fuck you, we don't care.
Think the difference is no employees at Netflix were raising hell over it. It was only annoying-ass woke audience. Like, in this case...
They weren't even woke, though. They were just like, they were like QAnon people.
Annoying-ass QAnon, whatever, woke, name it, whoever you want. But, like, in this case, it's also annoying-ass woke employees. And now it's like... Now you have people who could claim, like, almost abusive, like,
but how come
business policies.
I don't think these people should be anonymous when they do that, because I feel like the problem is that it gives people way too much power. So now the people that are getting criticized, we know who they are, we know what they say, but now you get to be anonymous and you get to criticize people and ruin people's careers from behind a screen. Fuck that, man. If you want to actually take a stance against something, you should be out there and saying, I'm, John Smith, and I have a problem with that. Yeah, like, otherwise, it's like I don't really respect your opinion because you're just an anonymous person.
If you're gonna dig into everyone's past, you should put your own past on
exactly.
On the screen.
All these people that are all about this cancel culture horse shit that are always going on, like trying to find out stuff about other people. We never know who these people are and and if they exist. And we don't know how many of these people. And when articles come out about people saying like I have a problem with this, they never say how many people they are. They always say the same thing. They say Twitter is really angry about it. Yeah, and it's like, is it really like Twitter, or is it four people? Yeah, is it really all of Twitter is angry about something?
Yeah, like the entire million to potentially billion person audience of Twitter is angry about this. Like, no,
it's 4 people.
You found a subset of people, and you
with a combined following of 30.
It's a combination of Twitter and journalists that feed each other into a rhetoric that people see, that the algorithm shows people on their phones, and people are so blind that they see these headlines. They're like, oh, well, I guess Joe Rogan is a transphobe now. It's like you didn't even have half the mental capacity to open the article, nor would you have half the even
to hear what he said,
to dig in and actually see what's going on.
Well, also Twitter. I was reading about Twitter that actually only 20% of the United States population has a Twitter account.
Really?
And so, out of that 20% of people that have a Twitter account, 80% of those people only average about 1 tweet per month. So really, the people that are active Twitter users, you're talking about 4% of the entire country.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't give a shit.
So why do these people control so much?
Why do they have any sort of power? But it's the problem is when you write articles about what these people say, you feed into their egos and they think, oh, my opinions on Twitter matter. I'm going to keep tweeting. I'm going to find something else to be angry about because maybe that next thing will go into this next article. Yeah. And now I'm going to get even more followers as a result.
Journalists don't care because they're just getting clicks and money.
They just get clicks.
They don't even care what they write.
They don't even care if it means anything. It means nothing. It's just all about my team versus your team. And there's no conversation. Look at what happened with J.K. Rowling. We kind of talked on this briefly, but you know what she said about, let me actually get up the real quote, because what she...
podcast citation.
What she said about trans people was actually completely...
Yeah, it was really not that bad.
It wasn't bad at all. I agreed.
I got it up right now.
I agreed with what she said. Yeah. She said
she basically said they should all die and burn in hell.
What's wrong with that?
That's totally good.
No, she said something basically what she said, I'm paraphrasing it poorly, is that
they are not human beings.
It's if we defined women, basically what she was saying is we can't define women out of existence because then the problems of biological women no longer matter. And it was just I agree with that. I think that there's room for discussion about trans people. I think it's a new issue, And she's not saying that she hates any of these people, but like why? But all of a sudden, everyone's like, "I fucking hate J.K. Rowling." And I think when she got all that,
people are calling her evil. People are like, "Why did she have to turn out to be evil?" It's like, dude, relax. She
has a different opinion than you.
All she
fucking
said
idiot.
was that she has some questions about that. And it's like, I think what annoys me about a lot of woke issues is people say, "Educate yourself." It's like that whole meme where it's like, "I don't have to educate you, educate yourself." It's like, well, bro, like,
why don't you educate yourself?
Yeah, like that, but also it's just like, where the fuck am I supposed to start? Like, I don't have access to like fucking university level like databases. Like, what am I gonna just keep Googling Vice articles until
also,
I
it's like,
understand
how do I
your
know
perspective? Like, what do you mean educate yourself?
How do I know that you know what you're talking about?
Here's a question. How about you help me get educated? I mean, we all want to be on the same page. Let's in a friendly way, like, work towards this together. But no, it's not friendly. Like,
how do we even know that these people are saying like educate yourself are educated if they don't prove that they're educated?
Right, that's what it's
they
really
don't
just
say,
a cop out. Like,
it's like I could show you the information, but why should I? You should just know it yourself.
People say that when they have no facts.
Yeah,
people say it's like the same thing. It's like people are like, "What? You didn't see that movie?" It's like, "Oh yeah, you saw it. Name one scene." It's like,
I don't have to prove.
I don't have to name a scene for you. Like, it's like, well, bro, then, like, you claim to have seen the movie. Like,
how do I know that you're not full of shit if you won't show
won't show any evidence for these insanely bold claims you're making? Like, what am I supposed to think? But regardless, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I completely support like trans people and like their right to be whatever they want.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think what Jay...
Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm just saying, you're like, yeah, whatever you say, bro. Yeah, you go with that, bro. I'm over here,
fuck it, I don't care.
But no, I'm just like, I support that. I'm just
I do too. I agree.
I'm more like, what J.K. Rowling said is not that inflammatory.
No.
She's just saying, like, look, like
it's not even illogical.
She was probably saying, like, there's a difference. She was basically saying there's a difference between a biological woman and, like, a trans
woman.
Someone who identifies as a woman.
And guess what? There is.
Yeah,
there is.
Very
and,
large
dude, it's like... Yeah, I have nothing against trans people. I know I have the people that I know that are trans.
I've had sex with a lot of trans people, am I there?
You know, there's nothing, I know people that I know straight guys.
We started this claiming Joe Rogan's not transphobic, and now we're just sounding totally transphobic.
But no, I listen. I have friends that are trans, and they're awesome people, and I have nothing against them personally. But there is room for discussion about gender and race and sexuality and religion, and you should be able to talk about this shit without what's his face, without Brooklyn woke William coming down your throat.
Brooklyn woke William, oh my god, who is
coming
that
down your? He wears a fedora.
Excuse me, Joe. He just walks in.
He wears a fedora.
Hey,
and he has a mustache.
Listen, I just have some complaints about your latest addition to Spotify.
What would be his comedy? What would be his jokes?
his wokes.
What would be
he
his
doesn't
jokes?
have any jokes. He just has wokes.
Did you ever notice that the patriarchy and the white oppressors are so fucking evil, and everybody doesn't even laugh? They just go.
Yeah, right. He's just like,
snap.
So anyway, as a white man, I hate myself and constantly think about suicide because of slavery. And everyone just like,
whoa, that was daring for saying what we agree with.
Nobody laughs. People are just like, yes, yes.
That was so bold of him to say what we already.
So anyway, women are superior to men, but trans women are the same thing as women. Right,
trans women are superior to real women.
And remember that all cis white men should die.
Yeah.
But I do not believe in the death penalty.
Oh, this guy tells it like it is.
This guy's a genius.
Oh shit, he's got his Netflix special.
Brooklyn woke William.
Brooklyn woke William.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. We should make that a new character when we perform.
Hey guys, it's me
Brooklyn
again.
Woke William.
Brooklyn woke William. Or maybe I'm making him sound like a drunk Abe Hannigan.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be I feel like you'd be more like.
Listen, guys.
Excuse me. So I was reading your.
He's very metro.
I was reading the lineup here for your stand-up show, and you have Mark Normand, and I don't know if you know this, but he makes racial jokes.
Shit, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to be the one to tell you that. I know, sweetie, I know.
What should I do?
I just think you should listen. You may just have to cancel the whole show. I mean, it'd be racist to even have it at this point. Sweetie, I know.
The way to
Sweetie,
constantly solve racism, I believe, is constantly boxing people into groups of race. I think that's just the way to do it.
No, right. That's why you have to cancel the whole show.
I mean, Brooklyn Woke William worked at Vice. That's what it comes down to.
He works at Vice, and he's addicted to Xanax. But he's he's progressive.
And he sells really good pot.
He does,
to be honest, though.
I mean,
at the end of the day,
I got from him. He's a good guy.
We talk shit about Brooklyn Woke William, but he has some dank fucking weed.
He's good people. But we should just we should move on.
Let's move on.
Stuff to talk about.
Why? We've only spent 40 minutes talking about this.
We've only spent a whole more than half a show on this topic.
People are like, Jesus, these guys are really going down the fucking...
this is like rabbit hole level shit. I mean,
Let's go back to our left-wing roots.
I mean, the fact is, at least we're alive, unlike...
Breonna Taylor?
I was going to say Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, yeah, true. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader...
Which dead symbol of liberalism do we want to talk about first?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's probably
Which corpse is less rotted?
Right. Like, whose bones are more fresh? Oh God.
Let's get a shuffle and go to the fucking crematorium.
I'm gonna have to go to church after this.
Yeah. Let's make this our most offensive episode.
So Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, how's she doing? What's the update?
Still dead.
Yes, that was
still
it.
dead.
Yeah, dead. Right. No,
I have nothing. I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, listen, I have nothing against Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Please don't cancel me.
I have a lot of friends who are Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They're all great people.
Some of my best friends are Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know.
They're all really great. I swear I have no problem with it.
Please don't fire me. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
She's an old lady. Everyone was acting surprised that she's dead. Can you believe this 87-year-old woman with pancreatic cancer died?
Yeah, right? I was at an open mic when I found out. Here's the thing. I found out about two major deaths at comedy mics, Kobe Bryant and her. And both times the comedians just tried to make equally shitty jokes about it. And it was great.
Let's get topical.
Just watching these people think I'm going to be the one.
Yeah, I'm so brave.
Who gets up there and just makes this brave ass joke. And it's just Kobe, the sauce, right? And everyone's just
Doesn't even make sense.
It's I guess you can take that shitty angle.
That doesn't even make sense. What about the sauce?
Yeah, right?
What's the premise? Yeah, we get it. It's the name of a steak sauce.
Yeah.
We have to go somewhere with the premise of the joke in order for it to be funny. You can't just reference things unless you're like that movie, Epic Movie or whatever.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, where they just hey, look it's Iron Man.
Yeah, it was just
Chronicles of Narnia. Isn't that funny?
Oh my God, it's like every other marketable movie that came out in the last 2 years, right, guys?
Isn't that funny? We're referencing things that exist.
Oh my God, no way! Is that Pirates of the Caribbean? They're here too.
Oh my God, and he's drinking rum. It's just like that movie I saw, and I know that, therefore it's funny.
Oh my God, and is this a scene with an X-Men character? Get out.
Dude, they know about X-Men too?
Dude, that's so funny.
But, so that's, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, yeah, she's like an old lady, and she was dying of cancer, and now she's dead. At the end.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty much just summarized. Yeah, that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg for you.
Can we put that into a sound clip?
You have that. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was some old lady. She had cancer, and she's just fucking dead now.
We have to make that into a sub clip of just that.
Right. I mean, anything else you want to learn, just look up. But that's pretty much the gist. Old lady, pancreatic cancer, no longer with us.
Honestly, she was 87. Dude, she looked
so obvious.
old for 87.
Dude, one dude got up at the mic and he's like, "Yeah, I just learned about Ruth Bader Ginsburg," and I'm just so shocked. I can't. I'm like, "What are you shocked?" It's not that it's not sad.
Yeah.
It's just not shocking. It's like if your grandma dies and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sad that grandma dies," but every time she stood up, I kind of had a mini heart attack. You know what I mean? It's not even, it's like I didn't have that much hope as it is.
You ever go to an old person wake? It's it's sad because people are crying, but at the end of the day, they're like,
yeah, a lot of people are just hey, what
are you going to do?
You get to a point with people where they get to an age where it's everyone's just kind of tapping their foot.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but when it's expected, it's just weird that people are shocked. It's what did you think she was just going to stay alive to vest Trump.
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna like romantically like power through the
they're gonna do like a
battles of old age and just beat Trump with her bare hands to death.
They're gonna do like a Weekend at Bernie's thing where people are just like holding up her body like, hey, I'm Ruth Bader.
Yeah, right. Dude, they have her on like puppet strings and she's like doing all these contorted movements.
Here's
like,
what I think.
It's alright, man. Her like wrists are bending backwards. She's like, oh, Ruth Bader is right.
I mean, here's the thing, like, my grandpa is 93. I'm surprised. Like, I love my grandpa. Some of my best friends are my grandpa. But like,
listen, I have nothing against my grandpa. Okay,
some of my best friends are my grandpa.
I know a lot of great people who are my grandpa.
No, but like, I'm surprised he's still alive. Because, like, he's in terrible shape, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's people like, at my job, there's a customer who comes in who's like, this dude is a fossil. Like, every time he comes in, I kind of get nervous. Like, I think this might be the moment that he collapses. Like, because it's just like, after a while, you can just see the physics of the human body no longer working.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just like these people can barely stand. And it's like, you could tell that, like, we live past our natural life expectancy these days. Like,
and honestly, she's like, people are not, I don't think that's sad that she's dead. They're more sad about the fact that, like, now Trump is going to put on Judge Judy on the Supreme Court.
I mean, of course people are sad that she's dead, but yeah, you're right.
No, they're more sad about, like, what's gonna... I get it. You're more sad about, like, what's gonna happen afterwards, and, like, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen afterwards.
I mean, he's most likely just gonna, like, I would think probably just, like, Brett Kavanaugh's brother or something. Like, he's just, like... That would be, like, the
Beer
biggest...
Kavanaugh?
Yeah, Beer Kavanaugh. That'd be the biggest middle finger to the entire American people. It's like, who does he replace RBG with? It's just Beer Kavanaugh.
Beer Kavanaugh.
He just shows up...
Yo, what's up, bro?
He walks into the, like... He walks into the Supreme Court with a wife beater on. He's
Remember
like a necklace. He's like, hey, it's me, Beer Kavanaugh. Where's my brother? Hey, how's that bitch doing?
Oh, she's still dead, bro. Well, remember when they had Brett Kavanaugh's like rape hearing, and he was like talking about his time in a fraternity, and he's like, "Here are my friends, Squiggy and Ice Pop and Charlie D, and like all of his frat bros." Imagine like they get like his frat bro, like, "Yo, what's up, man?
What's up? It's me, Charlie D. I'm on the Supreme Court. I decide what's constitutional, bitch.
Time to boof this fucking Constitution."
He's like, yo, this shit is not. He's like, yo, this law is not frat at all, bro.
I would love it. So I would actually be a fan of Brett Kavanaugh if he would go like the whole frat bro thing, and instead of wearing robes, he has like Greek letters on.
Yeah, if he just owned it, it would be easier.
And he's wearing like a backwards hat, and he's just like,
and like, he like walks in with like sunglasses on. He's like hungover. He's like,
yo, what's up, faggots? You guys ready to make some fucking decisions?
He's like, you guys ready to fucking declare some laws?
How about the case of your face versus my nuts?
Yeah, he's like, how about that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that old bitch? Like, yeah, I would have fucked her though, right?
Yo, Clarence, give me some fucking skin, bro.
Yeah, and the dude's just like,
well, okay.
I'm sorry. I can't really hear anymore.
Yo, Neil Gorsuch, what's up, my fucking Holmes?
Yeah, what's up, Holmes Slice? He does like a high five with him. It's like,
you guys ready to do some keg stands?
Yo, I got the bong. Who's trying to rip it?
Oh my god, no, if that actually...
Bro, we got a Woodser later, the Senate's coming, bro. They have the hottest bitches. Bro, the Senate bitch is way hotter than the House, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The Houses are like 6 to 8s.
Dude, I would totally fuck that Tulsi Gabbard bitch right in the ass, man.
Oh my god.
I know she's been to Iraq now. I'm gonna be in her rack,
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
What have we done to this woman?
I don't know.
I mean, we don't want to, just make fun of her in a completely generic way. Like, we could go that route.
We could.
We could just be like, yeah, like...
We don't want to do anything worse to her body than the maggots are currently doing to her flesh.
Jesus Christ. I just think Jack Straight does not like her.
I like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
He's like, I'm listen, she and I had like a little spat once.
I'm trying to make a Spotify employee kill himself.
Yeah. I mean, we could go the route of completely generic, just be like, how about like Ruth Bader Dishburn? Because I got some dishes for you, babe.
Oh, man. How about kitchen versus bedroom? You gonna solve that case?
Yo, the Supreme Court's a weird place to make a sandwich.
That's her only qualification. Pots and pans.
Like, all of them have, like, judge hammers. She just has, like, a skillet with, like,
she just has a sponge. She just fucking...
Oh, God.
Who's gonna wash the dishes in the Supreme Court now that she's dead, though?
She's like, I have something to say. They're like, what is it? Is the food ready? Wait, dinner's ready already? We're not even done with the hearing.
The only time you should be opening your mouth is when my beer Kavanaugh dick goes in. Everybody's like, all right, Brett, why don't you
it's like,
out?
Brett, relax. Like, she's nice. Like,
she's a nice woman.
She's nice. And then they, like, slap her on the ass. Like, you're like, you're good, Ruth. I like you.
Go get me a sandwich, toots. And slap her on the ass.
Oh my God!
Don't you like how like we're going?
She's just like it's like that quote where she says there should be 9 women on the Supreme Court. It's like, why should there be 9 women? It's like, because I've always wanted to knit at work.
We want to have book club.
Okay, it's a little bit of a group therapy session.
I just want to talk about me. We honestly, I like how we're going the exact opposite of like generic. My condolences to her and her family and her loved ones. We have gone. Like, the complete 180 of that.
I mean, for what it's worth, like, we've destroyed this woman's legacy. Like, but, you know what, like, yeah, she's a legend, but anybody can be made fun of. I think that's the point of this.
Yeah, everybody can be made fun of,
it's just, know? And you know what, it's like, the whole thing is like, oh my God, we needed her. It's like, for what? Like, she's, like, to stand there with, like, old person crap in the corner of her mouth is, like, just, like, mashing her teeth.
A fucking
like,
diaper.
She's, like... It's like at some point you gotta just accept like, okay, it's good that she was still an influence, like, because you know, but like,
isn't it like
how much of an influence was she really? Like,
yeah, but isn't it full of shit? No, I get what people are saying though. The thing is, people are angry, and I totally agree that everybody that's like a Republican senator is a fucking cunt because they're totally hypocritical about what they're saying 4 years ago. Like Lindsey Graham even said, he's like, listen, at the end of Trump's first year in office. If there's a Supreme Court vacancy, we should wait until, you know, we have another president sworn in. Basically saying, like, we should wait. Like, he literally said that. Yeah. And now it's like...
Now they're all going back.
It's like, dude, come on, man. You know?
I don't know. You know, I really... It's such a... It's crazy watching these, like, our leaders actually move without morals. Like, these people are just making power shifts at this point. Like, he's just like, Trump's like, we just got to get somebody in there. Like, man, like, we just
there's not even the facade. Like, there's not, like, Mitch McConnell is so... There's no, like, I'm going to pretend like what I'm doing is in the best interest. Like, it's just, like, he just doesn't give a shit. He's like, it's so...
I mean, Mitch McConnell, he's just like, I think Trump should do whatever he has to do to maintain his prejudice.
I need the Supreme Court. Here's the thing about those guys. They're looking way past Trump, though. They're looking like 5 decades in the future when there's more Republican Supreme Court justices. That's what the thing about Trump is. Like, they might hate him. They might not like how he talks shit about them. They may think he's a piece of shit. But they're like, we need him to get Supreme Court justices on there. And so they have, like, this relationship where they it's like this succubus relationship, and it's amazing how there's like just no morals. Like, what a fucking scumbag.
Yeah,
honestly, somebody should assassinate Lindsey Graham. Wait, what was I saying?
Whoa. Chill. Everything on this podcast is literally a joke. None of it is to be taken seriously, especially if you're an FBI employee and you're listening.
Oh yeah, sure.
But anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah,
somebody can actually go to jail for that shit.
No, that's literally like Jack was kidding because if he was not, that would be a crime.
I don't want to go to jail.
No, you're good. We're good. Nah, yeah, Jack's going to jail. So anyway,
but also
more on Jack's future prison rape to come.
What about? Anyway. What kind of you know what it is, man? I think Lindsey Graham is angry that he's a boy who's named Lindsey.
I think he's just angry that he's probably repressed his homosexuality for so long, and now people are ripping on him for it, and it's like...
He's like Chris Cooper in American Beauty. You know what I mean? The neighbor that, you know...
He just fucking shoots him in the back of the head. Bro.
Yeah, he's just... Because he's like...
I mean, Lindsey Graham looks like he fucking, like... It looks like he, like, takes scissors and, like, snips between the legs of, like, gummy bears for fun. Like, that's the type of guy he looks like. Yeah. He just looks like a weird, psycho, like, disturbed individual. Like,
he sounds like... I don't know. He looks, at the same time, like a really old 10-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, he looks like a deranged child. That's what I'm saying. Like... He looks like the type of kid who would actually, like, get joy out of, like, just watching YouTube videos of, like, mice getting eaten by, like snakes and shit. Like,
and the thing about Mitch McConnell is, like, how did this guy ever get elected to office? Because, like, even no matter, he just has a very unlikable face.
I mean, you know, at the time, everyone was just thinking of his Looney Tunes clout.
They were like,
oh yeah, he was so funny. He's like, I think I would be a great pick. I march with the block.
They love celebrities, man.
Yeah, right.
It's the same state that hired Jim Bunning to be the senator. So,
really? Oh, so there you go.
Fuck.
Please remember that I marched with the block people in the 60s.
You know what? Oh yeah. So let's move on though to
I mean, we should finalize what we're gonna say about RBG. I mean,
rest in peace.
Well, rest in peace, obviously, but more just like what's like, you know.
You're a good dude.
You were a good bro.
You're a good bro. That's what Brett Kavanaugh said at her funeral. She was good, bro. She was like totally fucking chill.
Yeah, I would love to see somebody just like memorialize her, just like greatest rapper of all time. Like, just like,
yo, she was my fucking bitch.
That someone like shares like a bar from Jay-Z, and they're just like the legend RBG. Like,
she was my fucking hoe, lady.
Yeah. Like, Crooklyn's finest. One of my favorite songs. Rest in peace,
honestly, she did good for women and all that shit. You know, we could say all that stuff.
She did well.
She did well for women. Okay,
please,
fucking
Jack.
Grammar Gabby over here.
Whatever, you know, she's a legend. But
she's a great guy. She's a great woman.
We just want to make fun of her because that's what comedy is. We're just trying.
Because it's just boring if we just say like we're so sad.
Yeah, we just sit here like, it's scared of America.
It's just fucking boring.
Man. I mean, yeah, like we all know that.
Yeah.
Okay, we all know it's terrible. We all know that.
We're trying to
like,
add some evil.
We all know that she's one of the most important figures in history. Yeah. We all know that, like, the fact that Trump is trying to replace her this quick is wrong.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Is that funny? Is that as funny as Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I mean, come on.
Exactly. Is that you just hear us say that you're just like, well, now I'm just bummed out because but we want to give you like an escape from your everyday life.
Exactly.
That's why
we're when you can still spank Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why we want to give you an escape from your life. That's why we should talk about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, there we go. Shifts further. So yeah.
Still dead.
Yes. Yes, that was the update I was asking for. So, yeah, the decision, the big decision, I couldn't believe it when I heard it.
I couldn't.
No new season of Game of Thrones. I mean, come on. No, I mean, yeah. Basically, they just, they only charged
season
one of the...
Season 8 was weak anyway.
Yeah, it was shot. They only charged one of the officers. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, I'm sorry.
You gotta watch Game of Thrones.
I'll watch
a great
it.
show. Oh my god.
I will.
Okay.
Anyway, so they only charged...
Actually, it was one season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's like...
Season 8 was good.
I heard
fuck the haters. No,
yeah.
The season 8 was great.
But anyway...
We're talking about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, we're talking about... It was just like Pepper. He's like, yeah, it's very serious. It was a good show, though.
Yeah. No, the show was great, but season 8, everyone's like, you know, it's an excellent season.
Yeah. So... They charged one of the officers.
Oh yeah, so the cops that killed this woman.
Yeah, the
cops are not going to jail for killing this woman. So this woman was shot while she was asleep.
It's not fucking funny. Okay, so they... Oh my god.
We're gonna shoot you!
Jesus Christ. She's like counting sheep. She's like, one sheep?
One sheep, two sheep.
She's like laying there. She's like, the counting sheep thing never worked. Oh, God.
One sheep, two sheep, AK-47.
Oh, God. She's like, one sheep, two sheep. Holy fuck, there's a lot of shit. Oh, God.
There's a lot of bull.
That's a lot. All right.
Let's... Oh my... I've officially broken this podcast. We're done.
I don't think we can say it.
We've lost our clout.
Yeah, we've lost any clout we may have ever had. We'll never get on Spotify.
I don't fuck Spotify.
Anyway,
Still dead.
Still dead.
So what do you think about the fact that these cops went off?
Basically, we have to list what happened.
Okay.
So after whatever, they decided to charge one of the police officers with wanton endangerment, which I don't know what that is. Like, I guess it's just like...
It's when you get wonton soup.
It's when you shoot a bowl of wonton soup.
It's when you're at a Chinese restaurant and you're killing all the waiters. It's when you're shooting
the staff at fucking Fuluk or something. It's when you're massacring Chinese restaurants. But okay, so
you didn't leave tip.
So after he put all those poor wontons in danger of after they made sure the wontons were safe, they killed Breonna Taylor, murdered in fact, and then they only charged him with this one charge that's basically just like a little bitch boy slap on the wrist, like whatever charge. And none of the other police officers received any charges. Probably nobody's going to jail. Nobody's going to see justice. And, there would have been riots in the streets immediately, but they actually deployed the National Guard instantly as soon as they made the decision, which is kind of scary.
That's nuts.
That's the scariest part. See, that's terrifying, like the idea that they were like, let's just put our biggest weapons on the street right away. Like, we cannot give these people the idea that they can have a voice right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
No, that we're really going towards like authoritarianism with that shit, man.
Yeah, it's
and
bad.
The thing is, with like Breonna Taylor, I mean, here's the thing, and you guys might be really pissed off at me for saying this, and Tom might be also.
Oh boy.
It's so they did. Her boyfriend or friend did shoot at the cops first.
I mean, here's the thing. I saw
it's just like, listen, when somebody's shooting at you, it's like, what are you supposed to do?
Here's one thing I saw though. Like, yes, that's a point. I just, and this is more of a pathological argument than anything. But I did see a tweet where someone was like, it's kind of funny how Republicans are like, come on, you have to use your gun for self-defense. And then they're like, well, if he didn't use his gun for self-defense, they would have been fine. It's like, it's the same logic. Like, you think someone's breaking in, you grab your gun to defend yourself and you shoot. Well, that's what they would say they have guns for. No, yeah. And now they're like, well, that's the reason he deserves it.
It's a stand your ground law.
And it's also just like
what they have in Florida.
Here's the thing, like, that makes it tough, obviously. Like, the fact that the guy shot bullets legally, and this is I'm not saying this is right, but legally kind of gives the cops the right to shoot. But the blindly firing into the house from outside, like, it's more than just like reckless endangerment. Like, if imagine he shot someone else who wasn't even in that apartment, like, that's another manslaughter. So like cops can't approach situations with this level of like carelessness, and it's like if it actually results in the death of someone who didn't need to die, like, I don't like. It's tough to say how you can approach it because, like,
I don't think that I don't think that I have more issue with the no-knock warrants. I think that's ridiculous.
That's another
but like
thing.
The cops themselves, like, I mean, this case is more complex than the George Floyd thing.
Yeah,
because like nobody,
by a long shot,
nobody in the million years would ever defend the cop that killed George Floyd. But this is like I think the whole no-knock warrant is so incredibly stupid. But like, I don't blame the cops for like following procedure.
But I mean, that's kind of like saying, look, I totally think the concentration camps are dumb, but I don't blame the people in the guard towers for
they were like, listen, you gotta do a procedures. But it's like, you gotta do a no-knock warrant. What if they didn't do a no-knock warrant and now like they get a bunch of shit from their boss because like you didn't listen to the rules.
This is the thing, like, I don't believe this could ever really result in it. Like, I'm surprised that the other cops didn't receive charges of anything, but I don't know if this could ever really result in a jail time conviction for any of these guys. No. But like, more the point is just like things like the no-knock warrant. Like, I don't think it really does that much. Like, if you knock and let somebody know that you're gonna bust in like 4 seconds, like, they're not gonna be like,
also it lets people know. See, if they had told people, saying, like, we're the police...
Then maybe he wouldn't have grabbed his gun.
He wouldn't have grabbed his gun and be like, oh, shit. Yeah, because it's like, if somebody just barges into your house...
You're going to think it's a home invader. Fuck? Like, if someone broke into my house, I would grab the first thing I can...
Not even a home invader. It's like, I mean, like, home invaders are usually sneaky. They would have think this guy is like a crazy person.
Right. Like, if someone broke down the front door of my house,
barged in,
I would literally grab the first thing I considered a weapon and lunge at them.
It'd probably be that knife that you have in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Upstairs in that drawer under the sink.
Or even just one of my guitars. Like, or that, yeah. Or maybe it could be that fucking machine gun I have above my safe.
The baseball bat that's in your brother's closet.
Or the fucking, the blood-soaked machete that I have hidden under my parents' bed. The switchblade. All right. But the point is, like, the situation makes me think that if I was him, I totally would have grabbed my gun too. So it's like, how can you really blame him? It's like, if you, like you said, like, if they were like, police, he wouldn't have grabbed his gun. Yeah. He probably wouldn't be dead. Nobody would be fucking dead. Like, you have this thing called a no-knock warrant, which is really meant for, like, cartel kingpins.
Yeah, where they're always prepared. They're always expecting
cops. Like, that's a different story, but, like, these are civilians. Like,
or, like, meth labs.
This woman's an EMT.
Because, like, those people flee. So if, like, you knock on their door, they're, like, the reason they have no-knock warrants for, like, meth labs or drug labs is because if you knock on the door saying the police, oftentimes there's people who try to fucking just leave.
Yeah,
and so you want to catch them off guard.
See, that makes sense. And the thing is, like, I don't know. I haven't read up enough on it. I don't know if they were I know they were suspecting a drug dealer, but if they had the wrong place, like, first of all, how do you have the wrong place? Like, what the fuck?
Excuse me, is this 14 Greenleaf Drive?
You're like knocking it, like, miss, is this Elm Street? It's like, yes. It's like, oh, okay.
Is this like 24? No, this is 28.
He's just standing there with, like, an assault rifle. Like
close enough.
Excuse me. Is it, yeah, whatever. This is probably it. Like, it's just crazy. Like, how do you not have the right place? Like, I don't know who wasn't doing their job.
No, they did a shitty job. I mean,
and also just, like, to issue a no-knock warrant for a job like this is completely unnecessary.
Oh,
it's like, that's like, if fucking, that's like if we decided, like, because of what China was doing, like, in Hong Kong, we were just going to nuke China.
Yeah,
like,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, that's the best way to solve it. Let's just nuke China.
And then they bomb us back, and we're like, why did you bomb us?
It's like surprise Pikachu face. It's just like,
But here's the thing. I mean, I don't also take issue with that, which I do take issue with. I think I take issue with the inconsistency of the charges, because the guys got charged with wonton soup endangerment, but they didn't get charged with any, like, of endangering their neighbors. Yeah. But it's like, somebody was killed. So I was like, don't you, what about that person?
I saw an interesting thing also where it was also a tweet where someone was like, it's crazy how the cops.
Your tweets.
Yeah. But they, sometimes it's a nice little
I'm just kidding.
Okay. This guy was like, it's crazy how the cops were only charged for the bullets that didn't hit Breonna Taylor.
Right? Yeah.
Like, that's wild. Like, you were charged for the bullets that went through the walls and fucked up the framing, but
you could have hurt somebody that wasn't black.
You could,
that's really what the judge was saying.
You could have hurt a white person, okay? Like,
you could have hurt a white person.
You don't understand. There could have been Caucasians in the area, okay?
Yeah,
so that's what we're charging.
Honestly, that really was the charge. It's like, you could have hurt somebody that wasn't black.
Yeah, right. Literally, like, okay, like, you could have actually, like, shot a person we care about. Like, that's what they were saying. Like, that's literally what it is, and that's why people are so pissed off. And it's like, legally, I don't know if you could charge the cop with murder, but it's just like,
you're charged with
the almost, like, complete lack of, like, accountability from anyone in power over this is sad. And it's setting a dangerous precedent that says, like, look, the law will back you guys. Like, if you think you need to, like, break into someone's house and shoot instantly, it's fine. Like,
well, dude, it's always been like that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, the point is, like, it's not going to change now. Like, the whole point of this whole thing was to make it change these things. Yeah. And it's just not going to change. It's going to get worse.
When the cop that murdered Eric Garner in Staten Island.
Fuck
that guy. He didn't get charged. He didn't even get arrested. He got sent to desk duty, which is just like a demotion. Yeah. Like, imagine you're at UPS, right? And instead of, like, screwing up somebody's order, you take one of those paper cutters and you slice somebody's head off. And instead of like them being like, we're gonna arrest you, they're like, all right, from now on, you gotta work in the back for the next few months.
It's kind of like it's almost like if you fucking had like a bad interaction with a customer, so you strangled them with a phone wire, and they're like, all right, I guess
they're dead.
They're like, all right, I guess you're just gonna be working from home from now on.
It's like, dude, name one other profession where you're legally allowed to kill people.
Well, it's also just not like name one other profession where you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where you get to kill people and you don't face any consequences.
Doctors face consequences for fucking.
Oh, dude, they have ton. If you accidentally kill somebody, you're done. Nobody's ever gonna fucking. You're never gonna work again.
Even if you skirt around any kind of charges, you'll never get any kind
Your
of. Your
career is over.
You're finished. Like,
dude, cops do that shit all the time. They murder people, and then when people get angry about them, they get the surprised Pikachu face. Be like, why do we face so much discrimination? Remember when it happened like a few months back with like the New York Police Department union chief. And he was like, you don't get it. Everybody's mean to us.
Oh, yeah, that old big crybaby. They were like, guys, people have feelings, too.
And it's like, what did you think was going to happen when he said that?
Bro, you're in the streets with riot gear. Like, you're making it clear that you don't have that many feelings. Like, you're trying to be as unfeeling as you can. Like, you're pepper spraying people who are not attacking you. Like,
well, it also just shows how out of touch you are. Like, when you made that message, how did you think people were going to respond to that? Did you think people were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry? Or did you think people were going to be like, wow, you really just don't get it at all, do you?
Yeah, right.
You just have no idea of, like, why people are angry at you and, like, what you did wrong. No attempt to be like, you know, we fucked up in the past, and, you know, we're trying to fix it. It's all just like, fuck you, we do a good job.
They don't even not realize it. They just don't want to give up their power. Like, these people have power. They don't want to let it go.
And it's also, to be a cop, most of the time you have to be an asshole who lacks empathy. Yeah. And so you can't, so the job requires you not to reach out and be like, I get why people are angry, I get this. It's like, you have to defend this to the core, and any criticism of you is like, fuck you, you're
Plus, also, if you try to call out other cops, like most of the police force that associates with you will probably just disconnect itself from you. Be like, cops don't like it when you try to call them out for shit they do wrong. Like,
you want to be like Frank Serpico.
Unless you think you're gonna be Al Pacino, like in that movie, or the real guy. Or Al Pacino. But either way, like, unless you think you're going to get away with that shit. Like, and even he, like, in real life, like, he had to, like, hide. Like, he was scared. Like, people were after him. Like, because they're like, how the fuck dare you try to take our power away? It's not about morality for these people anymore. Like,
it's clinging to whatever power. And that's why they're so firmly behind Trump, and they just see this country as a me versus you scenario. And the more we head towards election day, the more it just feels like an us versus them scenario. As we get close to election day, there are going to be people in my own life, I can't speak for Tom, that I'm going to be cutting out of my life, and there are going to be people that I'm going to be like, I cannot associate with you if Trump decides to, like, not leave office and they still support him. You know, there has to be a point.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of that, I think, is really just Trump talking out of his ass.
I think it's going to happen. Why wouldn't it happen?
He couldn't do it. He'd have no way to do it. Like, he could say whatever he wants. Like, he can't do it. Like,
he's going to take it to court. He's going to take it to Supreme Court, though, and if he gets fucking...
So he'll create a big headache for a lot of politicians. It's not going to work. He won't be able to do it. Like,
I wish I had your sense of optimism. I just don't. But either way, this election is really just going to break this country in half. It's going to
destroy the country. Either way, like, you know, I want Biden to win, but I don't have optimism for, like, America after. Like, it's still not going to be good. Like, we're still on a one. We're still.
You just got to crush.
That would be a better step, because we'd at least be back to some sort of normalcy where we don't have a fucking, like, circus in the White House. But, like,
it's going to take time.
I just hope that, like...
The Civil War took time after the Reconstruction. That took decades, though.
It did, yeah. I mean, who knows? I just wonder if Ruth Bader Ginsburg is getting good head in heaven.
And if she's
or giving good head.
And if she's washing her dishes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ruth. Rest in peace.
Just do a callback.
Yeah, quick callback. Okay,
and, so now that we've bummed you guys out,
yeah, I think that could be probably it.
Sorry to make you guys feel depressed.
Yeah, don't worry, everything will be fine. We're happy. A podcast happy.
A podcast orange after dark.
Yep.
Happy.
After dark. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I'm going to go replace my vocal cords.
I'm going to go. We got to find a guest for next week, so we'll probably have somebody.
We'll see if we can get our good. We'll see. There's a couple people. Couple people on the list.
Mark Normand on the show.
Yeah, right. We may have
Tim Dillon.
Yeah, we might even have fucking Jerry Seinfeld. I've been in this dialogue with him.
Greta Thunberg. I'd have her on this podcast.
Yeah, I would have her on.
Dude, that would be a totally awesome
That'd be hilarious.
She'd probably be chill.
She'd probably be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, she'd be like, these guys are fucking awesome. I think.
Or she might be like, how dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah, and then we're going to have...
and I put my penis back in my pants.
Yeah, and then I call the police on Jack because she's a child anyway.
I don't think so. I think she's 18
I'm
or
pretty
19.
sure she's still a child.
Probably. She's not.
All right, we're gonna have to before this podcast ends. We have to Google.
How old is she? She's got to be like what? I mean, I don't want to fuck her.
I don't want to fuck her or anything.
You know, I've already threatened assassination. I don't want to go to jail.
17 years old.
Technically legal
in New York,
but still frowned upon. Still creepy. Don't fuck 17-year-olds, guys.
Do not. Yes.
Unless you're 17 years old, in which case you should fuck
fuck anybody your age.
17-year-olds as possible, because that's what you should be doing at that age.
Exactly. Anyway, thanks for listening. Podcast Orange out. Have a good night. Penises.
Vagina.